Many people go through, or will go through, financial difficulties at some point in their lives, whether it's because of a lack of financial planning, excessive spending, or unexpected expenses. And these financial difficulties leave people extremely stressed. So it's crucial to identify the expenses that are keeping you in poverty to avoid financial problems in the future. In this video, I'm going to show you 6 expenses that keep you poor, and if you don't control them, you'll definitely face serious financial issues. But if you already manage to control at least 4 of them, then you're definitely on the right track. The first expense that keeps you poor is taking on debt to help other people. When we help others, we feel useful and supportive, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be careful not to compromise your own financial health, because most of the time, the people asking to borrow money are in financial trouble precisely because they have no control over their finances. So there's a good chance they won't be able to pay you back. That's why you should never go into debt to help someone else, because you'll likely end up having to pay off that debt yourself. Plus, you risk losing the friendship of the person who borrowed the money. If you're someone who likes to help others, it's important to know your financial limits and not let your emotions take over your financial decisions. So set clear boundaries for how much of your money you're willing to use to help people. Also, consider offering help in other ways that don't require taking on debt. For example, you could offer food if that's the need, or help the person find a job or find ways to earn extra income. And even if you still want to help financially, keep in mind that the money you lend will probably never come back to you. So, never lend money you can't afford to lose, and under no circumstances take out loans to help other people. The second expense that keeps you poorer is paying high installments on loans or high rent. Housing expenses are usually a huge portion of a family's monthly budget, so it's important to try to spend as little as possible on loans or rent. If you spend more than you can afford, you'll face serious financial difficulties down the road. Besides the monthly payments, you'll have additional costs like property maintenance, taxes, and insurance, for example. It's also very likely you'll end up struggling to cover basic essential expenses like food, transportation, and healthcare. Furthermore, if most of your income goes toward loan payments or rent, you have no financial cushion for emergencies or unexpected situations. And if your finances worsen, you could be forced to take out high-interest loans or even sell your home. That's why it's crucial to carefully evaluate your housing options and look for something that matches your financial reality. You might consider living in neighborhoods farther from the city center, which are usually cheaper. Another option to lower your housing costs is to choose a smaller house or apartment. And if you live alone, you might think about sharing the space with other people to split the monthly expenses. In any case, you need a clear and realistic financial plan and always try to live within your means. Many people stay poor because they want to impress others with things they can't really afford. The third expense that keeps you poor is spending money on addictions. Spending your money on addictions is not a smart move and can cause severe financial problems that can spill over into other areas of your life. Alcohol and smoking are some of the most common addictions that can hurt a person's finances in the medium and long term. Besides the cost of drinks and cigarettes themselves, you might end up having to pay to restore your health, with medical treatments, medications, or therapy, for example, which can be very expensive. Additionally, these addictions can harm your ability to work and earn more income, which ends up having an even bigger impact on your financial life. Another common addiction people fall into is gambling, which can be extremely costly. People addicted to gambling often get caught in a vicious cycle of loans and mounting debt. This happens because gambling is designed to make people lose more than they win, so they feel compelled to keep gambling in hopes of recovering their losses. The problem is they keep piling up more and more debt as they look for ways to keep gambling. The fourth expense that keeps you poor is impulse buying. Impulse buying is one of the main reasons people stay poor because they spend money they don't have on things they don't need. This kind of behavior is often triggered by aggressive, persuasive marketing from both physical stores and online shops. These stores bombard people with irresistible deals that appeal to their emotions. So people end up buying on impulse without doing price research or considering the negative impact these purchases will have on their personal finances. Even though some people enjoy spending money, you need to be disciplined and avoid buying anything that wasn't planned because the satisfaction is short-lived and will be followed by financial damage. To avoid falling into this trap, You need to have a clear and defined budget, including setting maximum amounts for each spending category. Also, never go shopping without a list of what you need to buy, and stick to it faithfully. That's the only way you'll avoid impulse spending. Fifth, taking out loans with high interest rates. Taking out loans with high interest rates is one of the main traps low-income people fall into because they often urgently need money and don't have many options available. So, they're practically forced to accept sky-high interest rates, which of course make the debt even bigger and push them closer to poverty. Another factor working against these people is that companies exploit their financial vulnerability to charge high interest rates. These companies often use deceptive promises to lure them in, offering fast and easy cash without making clear what the real cost of that speed and convenience will be. As a result, people fall into a debt cycle that's almost impossible to escape. That's why it's so important to keep your personal finances well organized, and if you do need to take out a loan, always shop around for the lowest possible interest rates. By doing that, you'll avoid falling into the poverty trap. The sixth expense that keeps you poor is living beyond your financial means. Living beyond your financial means is one of the main reasons people remain poor. This happens because they spend more money than they earn to buy things they simply can't afford. Usually, they do this to maintain a certain social status or to show off to others, the classic case of spending all their money or taking out loans just to appear well off. These people often buy expensive clothes, the latest smartphones, or the most expensive car to impress others, forgetting that the bill for all of this will eventually come due. The result is that they end up deeply in debt, caught in a vicious cycle of working just to pay off what they owe, or worse, becoming delinquent and having to sell the things they bought to pay off their debts. To avoid falling into this trap, you need to live a step below your financial capacity and avoid buying things just to impress other people. That's it for today's video. Take care and see you next time.